When we talk about hybrid and remote work, we frequently are talking about return to office, or as some people are saying, forced return to office. There's so many benefits to working in a hybrid or remote environment. The increased flexibility is phenomenal. Those who are putting out recruitment notices for positions that have more flexibility are getting a higher rate of applicant. They're getting higher quality applicant. We're also seeing when people are being forced back to the office, it's pushing some people out for whatever reason. First off, because there is flexible jobs out there where they can perform at their best. They get higher productivity for whatever reason. They prefer that. And so they're using the option to work flexibly. Some people want to work more in the office. They may need it for an environment. So they may not have a suitable environment in their home to work from home. They may not have a suitable environment. They may not like going to a coffee shop to do their work. That's fine. You may have people who seek the camaraderie and the contact and prefer to get quite a bit of their time in the office. That's fine. And you'll get people who prefer to work the majority of their time at home, at a place of their convenience. They will perform better. They'll get a better quality of life. And what we do find is that those people are more likely to be, and not always, but more likely to be women, more likely to be people of different ethnicities, more likely to be people of different abilities. So if you want an inclusive workplace, creating the most flexible environment that is possible for your business is absolutely key. What I'm hearing a lot of is that leaders are calling on employees to come back 2 to 3 days per week. Generally, that's what I'm hearing. This is causing a lot of unrest amongst employees. And so I want to give you an alternative view of what you can do around planning for a hybrid environment where people can maximize the benefits of in-person contact and network, which is so key. And it's one of the key things that is lost when we go fully remote. And we're going to talk about how to create the right and appropriate cadence. And by cadence, I mean that pattern of meeting, how people come together, whether it's online or offline, but how you kind of design that, right? So this is a little bit more of a tweak or a tweak to your work this week, but it's just, I'm hearing it again and again, and I know people are really struggling with it. So I want to give you an alternative view on how you can potentially design hybrid work or remote or flexible work in a way that works really well. We run a completely remote and flexible environment here at Better Work. We've got a very small team. So look, it's a lot easier, and I get that, but there is no reason why larger companies can't employ the same methods. And indeed, we work with lots of companies who do it very successfully. Rather than have a mandated 2 to 3 days in the office, think about the purpose of why we're coming together. Why are we coming in 2 to 3 days? And this is the big thing for people. They're coming in 2 to 3 days. They're not necessarily seeing the people they want to see in the office. They are often going into the office and going on video calls anyway. And it feels like a great big waste of time if you think of the commute. On average, if you got about an hour's commute both ways to the office, so 2 hours a day, it's roughly about a week's holidays, right? That you're kind of squandering, or that you can give back to something else. And if for some people, that just doesn't make a lot of sense, that you've got 2 hours that you're not actually working, but you're just sitting in traffic or you're commuting. If you don't enjoy that, and absolutely, it's a time to decompress and all that kind of good stuff, but there's other things that you can do to decompress. Anyway, we won't get into that conversation. Consider anchor days. So let's say there are anchor days over the year, or over the half year, or over the quarter. And those anchor days are days when everybody comes together. This could be at a team level, but really I'm talking about organizational level. Let's start there. Anchor days when absolutely everyone's together. And the whole purpose of that is to network, to get to know each other, to understand each other, to find out what else is going on in the organization. And this is not leaving these kind of moments to meet, water cooler moments, moments to collaborate, to chance, or leaving it to the more extroverted people. This is a structured, intentional way of bringing people together in a really kind of purposeful, meaningful way that people see the benefit of, they see the purpose of, and they're very willing to be there. So consider these anchor days rather than it being 2 to 3 days a week. Let's say over the year, for example, you have 20 anchor days or 12 anchor days or 2 anchor days or 8 anchor days, whatever it is. Let's say it's 10 anchor days. Then those days, everybody comes together on those days. They all come into the office, they all go off site, everyone comes together on those days. And you might do that there might be 2 days where everyone comes together, and then the other anchor days might be just for the teams. But whatever way you design it, be intentional about how people work together. So that's on the kind of anchor, connection, network, structure. How do we bring people together to create that connection and build those relationships? The second then is on a team, project, or client level. This can be cross-functional, it can be within a function, whatever way. But you're looking at, when do we actually need to be together? When do we need those moments where we are ideating, we are workshopping, we're working together, and we'll benefit more to be in person rather than online? And again, defining that, looking at what it is we need, when it is we need it, making it worthwhile for people, making it meaningful. They understand why they're coming together and what the outcome of that is. So you design that. That could be an extra 10 days. It could be an extra 20 days. It could be a little bit ad hoc, but have some sort of structure, some sort of expectation of what might be expected of somebody, so that when you're building in flexibility, you've got really clear parameters and boundaries of what we mean by flexible for your organization. That way there is less room for misinterpretation, missed expectation, and frustration that may fall out of that. And then finally, look at the regular or ad hoc cadence, which might be online, which might be offline. And this might be team updates. It might be, very specific to your functional team. How are we meeting? How are we showing up? When is it important? When is it really valuable and worthwhile? Is it online? Is it in person? Our Hybrid But Better workbook actually has a great template in this to help you to design this kind of thing. So it's the hybrid cadence planner for anybody who has it. It is looking at, how do you design your in-person days and meetups? So what's the purpose? Who attends? What's the frequency? Is it daily, weekly, annually, quarterly, ad hoc? Is it mandatory, optional? Is it in person or online? And you go through and you can plan each of the types of meetings that you want in your cadence for your organization, for your team, and then go beyond that and say, right, well, for those meetings, and there's all the different types of meetings to kind of inspire thinking around the types of meetings you have. So company retreat, retrospective, cross-functional committee or council, network builder, all of the different types of meetings that you might be looking for. And then finally, we look at the meeting planner. And this is so important. How many of us are sitting there on meetings thinking, why the hell am I sitting here? This meeting must be costing the company an absolute fortune. And here we are sitting. I'm not even talking. I've got nothing to input. I'm not getting a word in anyway. My opinion doesn't count. It's actually not really relevant to me. I may as well just sit here and do my email. So, meeting planner is all about purpose. Why are we having the meeting in the first place? Who exactly should be there? And what is their role? When is it? So it goes over some of the other stuff on the kind of lighter planner. What's the estimated meeting cost? Have you ever sat down and wondered, how much does this meeting cost? How much does it cost for this meeting here today with these 10 people? And then how much does that cost when we multiply it over the year? You will be shocked at the results. When it takes 6 months to order a new laptop versus call 10 people into a meeting every week for the year. Like, consider the difference of cost. Anyway, that's a whole other ballgame, whole other twerk. And then the structure. What is the structure of the meeting? Are we going to have a check-in question? Are we going to have steering metrics? Are we going to go through projects? What are we going to do? Are we going to have an open agenda, a checkout question? Are we going to workshop something? What is it? What's the outcome that we're looking for? What's the outputs that we're looking for? And who is the owner? Designing that intentionally, doing a workshop around it, figuring out what meetings are we going to keep? What meetings are we going to lose? And making sure that they're all worthwhile, all valuable, adding value, purposeful, and nobody's sitting there thinking, what the hell am I doing here anyway? And how demotivating that is. So hopefully that helps. I want you to think about hybrid, what it means for your business, how you can rethink this kind of traditional, like, oh, we've gone from 5 days a week, now we're going to go to 3 days or 2 days in the office. Flip that on its head and think, when do we really need to be together? What are the most valuable ways we can be together? When is it that people are going to think this was worth my time? Time is the most precious thing that we have. And it is the thing that we flippantly give away so easily in our organizations. And it is costing organizations an absolute fortune, and it is really demotivating for employees when they feel like their time isn't valued. So if you need any help, reach out to us. Feel free, obviously, to buy the workbook, but take the information that I've given you here today and try and rethink how you design hybrid and flexible work that will benefit you, that will benefit the business, that will benefit your employees, and help you leverage that incredible brain power that you've got in the organization. Let's make work better together. Take care.